Good morning. This is Mr. Henry Clement for your revision. Today revision, we shall guide you through the whole book again, so that you need to know that actually we have learned a couple of the exercise. I was doing this from 1 to 7. Okay, and I hope that with my a little bit of the guide through the whole books, you can now start doing your revision. You need to try to recall whatever thing I have shared with you. What have you learned in school? And the revision and the exercise you have done it. Try to do this and think it and try to memorize everything. Okay, so that is important. Okay, let's look back to the chapter 1. Okay, when we have in chapter 1, okay, we have learned some characteristic of the living things. So we know that we may use Ringer or Mrs. Grant. Okay, and they are so-called signs of life. Okay, so you can recognize and differentiate the living thing and non-living thing by these signs of life, and also the characteristics of living things. And then in year 7, we need to go into the animal life, and then also the plant life. So some feature, something we can see for eating and feeding, which is nutrition and respiration. Some movement, irritability, growth and reproduction, and excretion will be learned for our syllabus. So last time I also draw a duck and an elephant for you if you go to the week 2. Okay, so I hope that you can always do your own reading, and bear in mind you need to make this memory into a long-term memory and understanding thoroughly, because to understand it thoroughly so that it can make you learning better when you're learning more interesting and better. Then we have some tests for carbon dioxide. Yes, this is the apparatus we use. You blow in the air into this tube and pass through the lime water. Breathe in and out here, then 3 here. So the water will come here and then go out here. Okay. So just now I made a mistake. Okay. So the breathing in and out is here. Okay. And the water will come through from the left, and then the water will going in and then going out from here. So this one will turn milky. So we need to add something, which is a lime water here, so that you know that the lime water, the carbon dioxide will turn the lime water into the milky white. Okay, so that's not here. Why? Okay, because the carbon dioxide in the air is far more less than what we breathe out from the lung. Okay. So we have the testing around the seat, and then an indicator we need to use is so-called hydrogen carbonate indicator. So this indicator is orange red. Now we'll change to yellow if there is a presence of the carbon dioxide. So here, this piece actually, even though it's a plant, but at the piece time of a seed when germinates, actually the seeds is doing respiration and use the use oxygen and release carbon dioxide. Then we go to the major organ system. Okay. So firstly, we need to learn about organs of the flowering plant, which is the root, stems, leaf, grass, flower, okay, all these things. And then we need to look closer to the roots. Okay, it may be in the tap roots and fibrous root. The picture is there. Okay, I think I show you some of the root also. Okay, and then we have this so-called hematophores, which is, can you see, the tree is from there far and then come out on the water so that they can breathe. Okay, and then we have some tendril stems, leaf, flower, and buds. Okay, then we go for the human system of the human, or organ system of the human. We have many types, skeletons, okay, all these things. Okay, so we need to learn, okay, all these organ system one by one. We have learned skeletal, and then we know that they have some function. One is for protection, and then another one is support. Here the skull will protect the brain, and the vertebrae will protect the spinal cord. And then the second also provide movement, okay, together with the help of the muscle actually. For the movement, we need to learn the joint, so better go back and read carefully every word by words and understand well. And then we have the muscle. Muscle only can do contract, so they need a pair so that they can work together. So for example, our forearm, we have the bicep, and later we have the tricep. So this one pull, then the hand will come out. And then when the tricep pull, then our arm can lower down. Okay. So a pair of the muscle, we have a name for that, which is called antagonistic muscle pair. Okay. Okay, then we need to look at the circulatory system. Okay. And we need to learn how to measure the pulse. We learn about that respiration system. Okay, this is part of the respiration, which is breathing. Okay, breathing, we need to know that the movement of the chest wall, the ribs, the diaphragm. Okay, and then what is the pressure and what's the volume involved. Later, we need to look at the digestive system. As I told you before, I think 8 to 9 meters long, from the mouth to the anus. So it is actually your height times 6. So if you are 1.5 meter, then when the whole alimentary canal, okay, you put out, so it will be like 6 times of your height, just like a lamp post, lamp post. Okay, lamp post. And then we have learned some journey of the food in our body. And then the next one is the nervous system. Okay, nervous system, we have 2 types. The brain and the spinal cord, we call it the CNS, central nervous system. And then the other, we call it as a peripheral nervous system, PNS. Then we look for another 3, which is excretory system, which carry of the waste, urea. And then the sensory system, which is involved the receptor, okay, the steam, such as eyes, ears, nose, tongue, and skin, so that they can pass the message to the nervous system. Or the message we pass is called impulse. We have the endocrine system for the internal environment, or using the hormone, or chemical, and some history part. Then we go to the cell. When we learn about cell, can you see this is a picture? I think you have your book also. We have the microscope. We need to learn how to use the microscope, the parts of microscope. So this one you need to memorize. And then we have the specimen. Specimen is the name for the thing we want to see. Okay, and then we can use how to use the lens and look at the cell. And then this is part of the cell. Okay, as nucleus, membrane, and cytoplasma. And then we have learned this one. I think you have known this one. There are special muscles such as red blood cells, white blood cells, and then smooth muscle cells, nerve cells, ciliated cells, and red hair cell. The last one will be the parasite. Parasite is for the photosynthesis. So plants Okay, this is the thing. And then we go for the microorganism, the fourth chapter. So you can see this one. This is so-called the fairy ring of the mushroom. Okay, you can observe it. Okay. So then we have the useful yeast. We need to learn about Monella kingdom, bacteria, virus for the Protista kingdom, decomposer. And we go to number 5. Okay, this is a chapter about ecology. So we need to know what is the habitat, the abiotic factor and the biotic factor. We know that what is an ecosystem, food chains. We need to recognize producer and consumer, and primary consumer such as herbivore, secondary consumer, carnivore, and there's an in-between one which is called omnivore, and then omnivore. Okay. And also the tertiary consumer and the quaternary consumer. You can say this is top carnivore. Then we learn about biodiversity, investigating the habitat. Okay. So the way we use is called quadrat, transect, and then we may collect the animals. Okay. And later you see the green funnel or the pitfall trap or the strip net. One very interesting is called sheep and beetle. Can you see the picture? No, there's no picture. So you have a sheep down the tree, and then you beat the trunk of or the branches, and then the small animals will fall. So there's a putter as well. Okay, be careful. Okay, you have the cloth cover there. Okay, so that you can observe the small animals. The pond net I use to collect the pond animals. So sometimes we may need to go to study the seashore or on the beach side or rocky shore. Okay, a transfer can be made here. Okay, so adaptation is to changing condition. Okay, so let me see. Let me read this one for you. Okay. As the Earth spins on the axis, it brings each place on its surface towards the sun and then away from it. In the daily circle, the part of the Earth that is facing the sun at any time is in daylight. Then, as the Earth turns, this part faces away from the sun and it becomes night. The Earth continues to turn and this part comes back into daylight and once more. Some plant and animal have special adaptations to this daily change. The example given below are mainly found in Northern Europe. Okay, this is northern globe of the world. Okay, of the Earth. So we need to learn about plant adaptation, animal adaptation to the seasons, and also to the certain habitats. Okay, so you can see the picture for that. Okay. You can go to find a goat, then you type the word GOAT, and then you type the word mountain. Then you can see the goat actually can climb the mountain in a very impressive. Okay, can you see? You can always find this picture. And then we have other habitats such as marine algae, freshwater plant, freshwater animals, and then we know also some adaptation has happened due to the feeding for the herbivore, just like the giraffe grow to become so tall. Okay, and carnivore, the relationship between the prey and predator. So we go to the number 6, plant, people and planet. So from the early time, how the movement of the people. And then until we have invented some early engines, the steam engine, which bring the industrial revolution. Then the generating of electricity, so that more fossil fuel and the non-renewable resources used, and then the nuclear fuels and some other renewable energy is coming into picture. Okay, so other than that will be biofuel and then fuel side. Okay, so the transportations, okay, such as this, the steam locomotive is pulling the train across the bridge in India. Okay, so the transportation has improved a lot for people nowadays. You can see a light around the city. And then you can see the goods are sold on this one, maybe from other countries. For example, this is from China, from India, from Indonesia, from Sri Lanka, from US, from Northern Europe, from France. Okay, the gin from France, the chocolate from Belgium. So the change of environment as well. Okay, so they have a change on land. Okay, people are removing the forest so that they can grow crops and building house. To grow crops, they need to spray a lot of pesticide. Pesticide is the pesticide means kill. Then pest means that it's the bugs that actually the eat the pests the pests that eat the crops. And then also we are mining for the ores. Ores is for the metals, you see. And also changing of the sea. There's when there's a oil tanker leak, and then change of atmosphere. So we learn about greenhouse effect. Greenhouse effect, this picture can best illustrate. The sun can go out easily more, but the atmosphere block, stop the heat from going out. Some actually escape. So the earth will become hotter. And then once the very worst thing, which is extreme, can you see? And lastly, we will also learn about ozone layer. Okay. So to save our planet, we need to cut down our energy use, recycling and reuse. Can you see? This is a tire, old tire to make shoes. And then the work of the government and company. There are something you need to memorize and go to understand. Okay. Lastly, this is the last part. So this is the whole thing of the biology already. Okay. So you need to learn about classification of the living thing. Just now we're touching about a little bit of an animal, but now it's the real thing that we need to group them into a system. Okay. So we have the plant kingdom and the animal kingdom. Okay. So animal kingdom we have how many? Yeah, so this is the thing we need to learn. Okay. We have two types, okay, which is vertebrate with the backbone and without the backbone. We have one. We have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. You need to learn. Then all the picture are given there. This is not green, but this is actually colored already. And then for the arthropod is the second one. Okay, also have many groups. We have mediapod. We have a crustacean. I think you like most this one because this is all the food, the delicious food, insects and arachnids, which is spider and scorpion. Then you need to know their difference. Then we have to learn about mollusks. So for the vertebrate, we'll be learning these three. This is the mammals, or not 5, sorry. Mammals, birds, reptiles, amphibian, and fish. Then we learn about orders, and then also the families. And then finally we go to the genus and species. Okay. We also learn about plant kingdom, and then about firm conifers and liverwort moss, and also the flowering plants. Lastly, we go for the variation. Okay, variation between species. So we have two types of variation you need to learn. One is called continuous variation. I think I have drawn a graph for you. You can see. And this continuous variation, the answer is for yes or no. Okay. And then we have done about the cause of variation. Okay. So one is the environment. Number two is the lack of mineral. Okay, as you can see, this flamingo, because they eat the shrimp, so if they eat a lot of shrimp, then they'll look like the pink color. If the food there's a lack of shrimp, then they become white. Okay, so I think that's all the short revision of the guiding to the whole 1 to 7 chapter for you. I hope you enjoyed today's sharing. Thank you. This is Mr. Henry Clement. If you like to get more past paper notes, tropical, always look for our dear friend Colorful. Thank you very much.